Hello, everyone, and welcome to Global Outlook. I'm Mary Sitt. How do you create a community for students whose first language is not English, and how do you help them become successful? Our first guest is an expert at that. Dr. Hossein Askari is the lead faculty of continuing education, languages, in the Division of College Readiness. Thank you, Dr. Askari, for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Mary.
So tell me about this program that you have, this intensive language program. You have a full-time program and a part-time program, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I need to answer this question actually a little differently. Okay. Imagine that actually I'm asking a question. What are the most important problems when the students want to attend classes and continue their education? Most probably we're going to talk about money and time. Okay. They are very busy, providing for their family. They work extended hours. And so these problems that they have, and they cannot afford to let go of their jobs, so they need to keep the job. So that's why we are actually offering both morning class and evening classes. And so we have part-time and full-time for our students to make sure that every potential student can continue his or her education at Houston Community College. Okay, this is one important thing. And another thing is that we are very reasonably priced. Okay, when I think about, for example, a 60-hour course, and this 60 hours is divided into 30 days of classes. Okay, 30 classes, and so they are going to pay like about less than $10 for a class for a day. So that's very affordable. Okay, so this is the opportunity, and I believe that. So this is how the leadership created the full-time and part-time for our students. Yeah, the answer is yes.
And this is open to all international students or any student at HCC who wants to improve their English, correct?
That's right. Yeah, we at C Languages, we actually started the basics. We have intro level, level 1 and level 2. Okay, and then they move to a different department, which is the intensive English ESOL department, we call them.
It's such a bargain rate that you have at HCC that people can do it. Can anyone, who's lived here for many years, they just don't know English very well, can they go to these classes, or do they have to enroll as an HCC student first and then enroll?
So that's a very simple step. So the very first day that they want to actually come to our program, they go there. So they need to fill out an application, which is the HCC application. Okay. So because we are HCC and we want our students to have all the benefits of actually HCC students. So it's like very quick. They fill out an application, then they receive a W number. Then we actually start the process, and we take them from there.
What are your program goals for the continuing education intensive English program?
Okay, so I think that if we have a look at the model that our leadership has chosen for our program, that can talk well about our goals and how far we are ready to go for our students. The motto is reach higher. So we want our students to reach higher, and we want to make it possible for them to reach higher. Okay, so we encourage our students to set goals, the goals that are high, and we help them to reach them. So as you started at the very beginning about learning community, so that's a very important keyword. And recently the formal effort has been started with our leadership and one of our actual managers, Elaine. They are working on the learning community to make it formal. We have a learning community because we are spreading the love. We love our students, we care, and we want our students to do the same. So that's the learning community. But now we are actually taking some formal steps to making it formal, to have a learning community.
Yeah. Now, it must be difficult during the pandemic to create this community, right? Is it all a online community, or how are you doing this?
Okay, so that's interesting. At the very beginning when this COVID broke out, we were left with a lot of things to do. We decided, look, as I said, our students are basic, level 1 and level 2. Okay, so these students, most of them, they cannot afford. Their English is not as strong to go and take like normal courses that the other students take. So they need teachers. So the leadership decided that we want to have classes that are on a schedule. It means, for example, every day from 8 to 10:30, I sit with my students, I teach them, they see me, in person. So like that, the experience is very close to in person. So at the beginning, we had very difficulties. We work around the clock to create courses, to develop, shells for the Canvas. Our students wanted to do the activities on Canvas. So, and we call this, the support staff called each single student one by one,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, one
Every
by
student
one.
got a personal phone call from a staff member?
Yeah, and in actually our faculty, we encourage our faculty to bring our students to the class to make sure that happens. So, some of our students, they cannot speak English well, so they need support, they need our help, and we need to
I
be
imagine
there
it must be more difficult too, teaching English over Zoom, right? Because you don't have that in-person interaction where you can actually, it's different in person than
It is.
over
Oh, it is
on
different.
camera. It
Yeah,
really is
I
different.
agree. I agree. It is different, but this pandemic taught us many things, Mary.
So Dr. Askari, let's talk about your personal story. You came over here as an immigrant, and of course you were very lucky. You knew English, you were fluent in English already, but tell me about your experience coming over here.
Yeah, so that was interesting. When we decided to come to United States, or let's say when that opportunity, that door opened, so we started thinking making that decision was not easy because we had a life well established. I had a job. I was a faculty member at the university. And so I had everything there. Now I had to let go of everything and step into unknown. So I came here, and I think it was about midnight that I landed in a hotel on Highway 6. Why I know Highway 6? Because tomorrow morning when I woke up in the morning, I went outside and I saw cars were passing so fast, and I didn't know which direction I need to take. I should go this way or this way. Okay, so I stayed there for a few minutes, and then I stepped back and I talked to the receptionist. It was a nice lady, and I said, hey, ma'am, I am new to the United States, and so tell me what should I do? So, oh, there are good museums here. I said, ma'am, no, I'm here actually to live, not to visit. Okay. So, and she said, do you have a cell phone? I showed my cell phone. Yeah, I have a cell phone. So you need a line now. I said, okay, where should I get it? Say, okay, which company do you want? I said, I don't know.
So you were learning the basics. When you came here by yourself and you didn't know anyone, is that right?
Yes, I didn't know anyone. I was on my own. Yeah.
And this was your very first time in the United States. You had no idea about how banking, renting apartments, all that stuff. You had to figure it out by yourself.
That is correct. Yeah. And that's why when I wanted to rent an apartment, I thought, okay, it's after a few days in the hotel, I can go and rent an apartment. I went there and say, hey, I'm interested in that apartment. And they said, yeah, sure. What's your social security number? I said, excuse me? And they said, you don't have a credit. We can't give you an apartment. So I think my story is not only mine. It's actually many of our students step in this country with limited means. They need help. They don't know anything to do. And then look, when I rented an apartment, that's interesting. They told me, okay, you're going to have the key, but you need first to have electricity, buy electricity. I said, I'm sorry, where is electricity to buy? Because in our country, it's not like that. They have to be called to buy. So we have the electricity over there. Okay.
So good thing you knew English to do all this, to navigate all this by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
But HCC, we only have a couple of minutes left, but HCC has a lot of support it gives to its students too, right? In terms of helping them get adjusted to life in Houston and situated in housing, that kind of thing. Or tell me about that and how you.
I think I'm not the best person to talk about those, services that HCC provide, but I know that, we, for example, in the first day of the class, because we review the syllabus with our students, we tell them that if you need housing assistance, if you need food assistance, so all of them, so reach out to these numbers. We provide numbers to our students, but how that works, I'm not really clear.
But I know that HEC has the largest, if not one of the largest, international student populations among all the colleges. So it has lots of resources it can direct students to get help when they need to, right?
Mary, do you know why Houston Community College is one of the largest in the country?
Because it's so affordable and because it offers good quality.
Let me ask you a question. Look, you know that Houston is a major destination for immigrants, right? They come to here. So you might say that because Houston is very affordable. I agree to that, but that's not the only point, right? So look, I believe that Houston is a microcosm of the world, okay? So people are home here. They feel comfortable. The same as HCC. Right. HCC is home for many of our students. Our students feel comfortable with us, okay? That's a very
important. We have one of the most diverse cities, and that's a real advantage. That's correct. You look around and see people from all over the world. I love going to Walmart. As I tell my kids, it's like going to the United Nations. You hear about 4 different languages. We walk the aisles. It's great. Yeah. Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Askari.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And good luck with the program.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Coming up next, a future nurse practitioner gets her basics from HCC. Stay with us.
Frame your future with HCC. Enroll today for spring classes.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But I get it, you're busy, and busy people can't have prediabetes. I read that wrong. They can, okay? Just go to the site.
La forma en la que ves tus opciones puede cambiar en un minuto. Houston Community College te ayuda a encontrar tu camino con más de 200 programas que te abren oportunidades a puestos de trabajo. Inscríbete hoy para las clases de primavera y enfoca tu futuro con HCC.
Our next guest is from Nigeria. She says, every day is an adventure, just embrace the adventures. Jenny Amara is earning her second associate degree here at HCC, and she's getting the basics in so she can transfer to another college and become a nurse practitioner. Jenny, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Tell me a little bit about where you're from and your family.
So I'm from I'm from Nigeria, which is the western part of Africa. And I have my parents, 2 parents and a sister, and they're all back home.
So you're over here all by yourself. How did you decide to pick HCC as your college to attend?
Well, actually it started with the area. I wanted, like somewhere warm that's not too far from the weather I was used to. And then after I picked Texas, HCC was kind of a no-brainer because it's a really good school. It's pretty affordable, and they have high standards.
So how have you managed being so far away from home, and how have you dealt with being homesick?
My family does visit when they can, and I've gone home once or twice since I've been here. But really, I've tried to surround myself with friends and family here, and also just I keep busy. Really.
I know you're busy, and you do more than just study, and you're very good at your academics. You're also extremely busy with extracurricular activities at HCC. Tell me some of the things you're involved in.
So right now I am a student ambassador, and we try to help the especially new students that are coming in, and old students, but mostly new students, trying to help them acclimatize and get used to the school. If they have questions, if they have issues, we're always there for them to reach out. So that's really what we do as student ambassadors. And then I'm also a member of the National Society of Leadership and Success, and SLS. And it's mostly really like leadership boot camps, just that it's virtual, but we do have community services. We do have occasional meetings where they invite people to talk to us about their experiences and leadership, and just how to groom us for the future generally.
So Jenny, I'm impressed because, I have a college student too, who's 19, and I can barely get her to get involved with the other students. She's got a lot of Zoom classes. And not only are you involved in your classes, but you've reached out to other students who are coming in. You're in leadership positions. Was that something you just sort of grew up with, of, getting involved with other activities? And so you wanted to be a leader too, or how did that come about?
Well, first of all, I was actually asked to join, but it made sense to me because my first, I would say 2 years that I joined HCC, I wished that I had, just people I could reach out to and ask questions, and some of the issues I had and the struggles. And so because of that, it helps me be able to relate more with, young folk when they come in. And it just made me want to be able to help students that may be in situations that I was in.
What was your biggest struggle, and how did you overcome that, Jen?
I think the first year, I definitely struggled with trying to find accommodation around my campuses, and transportation, that was the first. And then, the others were the weather, the culture shock. But apart from that, in school, just trying to navigate around like registering my classes, knowing like resources that could help me, being able to attend tutoring classes and, in areas where
And what's the biggest tip you would tell other students coming over here?
I would really say that they should know that they're not alone, because it does get really overwhelming. And when you feel like, oh, I'm here by myself, I don't have any support system, and it's this ginormous school and thousands of people, you do tend to feel like you're all alone. But you just knowing that there are other people just like you, and that we're just like, all together here. We all need help. We all need each other. It helps just to know that you can reach out.
So reach out to a student ambassador or reach out to a professor, one of your teachers, and they can direct you to other students who can give you peer-to-peer support, right? Tell me about your career goals, Jenny. You want to be a nurse practitioner, is that right?
Yes. So right now I'm in my final year in HCC, trying to finish up with my prerequisites to transfer, hopefully, to the University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston. And I'm hoping to be able to get my license as a registered nurse, and then from then be able to move on to being a nurse practitioner and eventually a nurse anesthesiologist.
That's fantastic. And what drew you to the nursing field in the first place?
So I think my most defining moment was when my uncle was diagnosed with prostate cancer. We were on the journey with him for about 3-5 years, and the nurses were just so great, because we traveled a lot due to his illnesses and surgeries and chemo and everything. So I was just able to meet different physicians and nurses in different hospitals, and it just really drew me to them, because they were kind of on the journey with us, and just taking care of us, supporting us. And so it just made me very curious, I guess. And then when I started to dive in to like taking volunteering and just like finding out what it was all about, I grew to just really like it.
So this is your passion, nursing. Well, we wish you the very best of luck in your new field. Thank you so much for being with us, Jen.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, coming up next, we're going to meet a talented local actor who talks about equity and diversity in the acting field. Stay with us.
What does moving forward look like? Houston Community College has hundreds of choices, small class sizes, and personalized support to help you do just that. Enroll today for spring classes and frame your future with HCC.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
La forma en la que ves tus opciones puede cambiar en un minuto. Houston Community College te ayuda a encontrar tu camino con más de 200 programas que te abren oportunidades a puestos de trabajo. Inscríbete hoy para las clases de primavera y enfoca tu futuro con HCC.
Our next guest is SAG-AFTRA actor and performer CeeJay Joseph. He's currently acting in the co-starring role of Principal Haney of the CW's Walker. CeeJay's episode ranked 4th out of 18 episodes last season. CeeJay, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
First of all, let's talk about your name, CeeJay. It stands for something. It's very intentional.
It does. CeeJay basically stands for Creating Entertaining Experiences with Joy of Art for You.
And that's what your whole goal in acting is, right? Creating.
That is my whole goal, because acting is not, for me, it's not just acting in front of the camera, but there are so many other facets that go along with entertaining people that acting is just a big part, but not the only part.
So you're sort of a vehicle to bring joy to other people. Is that how you see it?
I try to be, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so how did you first decide you wanted to become an actor?
Oh gosh, it started as a child watching cartoons, actually, and really just wanting to be one of the voices of the characters on the cartoon. I thought that would be just one of the coolest things.
So which voice did you want to do?
Well, I mean, I grew up with, Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd and those types of characters.
CeeJay, do a Bugs Bunny for me.
Oh gosh.
Or any of the characters. Can you do
That's
it?
all, folks. I mean, it's been such a long time since I watched Bugs Bunny, but those were the cartoons that I grew up on and really wanted to be the voice behind the cartoon. So if anybody out there that would want to voice cartoon characters for me, I'm here.
So CeeJay, let's look at a demo reel you brought with you and see some of the different parts you've been playing, okay?
Sure thing.
Is there a problem? Someone just called in a bomb threat a few minutes ago. Local PD is already en route. Hey, actually, you read my mind. I'd like for us to meet tomorrow morning.
Yeah, tomorrow morning. That's be a little tough for me. So maybe later today or...
Actually, Dan, it's important. I would say critical, so you need to make this a priority. My God. My God. Why hast thou forsaken me? Unfortunately, there's no perfect time for these things. It was a head-on collision with an 18-wheeler. It's a miracle he's still alive. I'm glad that can be worked out. But let me end by saying this. Whatever history you all have, work it out now before this gets any worse. All right?
So CeeJay, you do both stage and film, right? Do you have a preference and how do you prepare for each one?
That's a great question. I've done a ton of theater when I was in Orlando before I transitioned to the great city of Houston. But now I just concentrate on film and TV. The biggest difference between the two, between stage and on-camera work, is stage, you go through a ton of preparation, a ton of rehearsals and things of that nature, but it's instant gratification because you're in the moment with the live audience. With film and TV, depending upon the project, there are some projects where, I got a little rehearsal time, and there are some projects where we just ran a couple of lines, then we're shooting. So and then you may not see that end product for weeks. There is no instant gratification. And sometimes your part may get on the cutting floor, which you don't want, but at least you're still a part of that project and you get the credits for it and everything like that.
So the pros and cons on both sides. With stage, you get instant gratification. The whole thing is done. You're in the moment. You feed off the energy of the audience. In film, it's segments. You're doing one little scene, one little dialogue, cut, then they go on to something else, right? And it's not, you don't have that big flow of the whole thing. No. But you have the permanence of film. You can always go back and see the whole show, right?
Always go back and see the entire show. But now it's with stage, how they're recording some of these productions. You can still go back and, and relive those moments of the stage as well.
Like Hamilton. I never got to see it on stage, but I got to see that video. The film version is great.
Exactly.
Okay, so tell me, as a Black actor, do you find it more difficult to find roles? Are you, stereotyped in certain roles, or is it just different these days? And, you can play roles that have traditionally been given to white actors.
Fortunately, Mary, I have not been stereotyped, but there are some actors who have been. However, there is less work because of, productions may not think that a Black actor or actress can actually portray other characters that may not necessarily have to be Black, but that is changing as we go along. There's becoming more diversity in production, not only in front of the camera, but also behind the camera, which is a really great thing too.
So I know that at Wheeler Baptist Church, you annually played Jesus. And normally we see Jesus in films, right? The character is a Middle Eastern look or a white look, right? I don't think I've seen very many Black Jesuses. So how did you do that?
That was very simple because, once you look at scripture, it does not tell you that Jesus was as the traditional looking white man. So that part was very easy. The part is as far as getting accustomed to the emotional and spiritual part of it. Earlier this year, we did a crucifixion scene for Good Friday, which was totally different. And then we also did a resurrection scene where I was hoisted 25 feet in the air. So that was a stunt, pretty much. Very, very highlight of my career.
How do you get in character to play Jesus, though? I mean, seriously, no, I'm serious, right? Because when we think of the historical Jesus and the biblical Jesus, all of that, it's like, this is a man who's a great teacher, but beyond that, son of God, right? According to the Bible. And so how do you play that character? How do you get into it and say, okay, I'm CeeJay, but I'm playing this role?
Yeah, that's a very great question. Primarily prayer, fasting, and just making sure you're getting your spirit right and as best as possible. But I initially start off with prayer that I'm used as a vehicle for others to say, what must I do to be saved?
And I think that probably your whole goal is to project that spirit of love as you portray the character, because you can't ever be that person, but you can have that character, the characteristics, right? So I'm really curious, how do you prepare for a role, CeeJay? I mean, you're given a role, let's say in the CeeJay, in the Walker series, okay, and here you're gonna be this principal. Do you like memorize all the lines and then you suddenly become that person, or how does it work?
Well, you first, dissect the scene and dissect the character. What does that character want out of that scene, and what the other characters want out of that scene, because it could be totally opposite or it could be the same. And then you really start diving into the actual dialogue, and I usually say going from here to here. Once you get the lines here, but then it transfers to here, you can kind of go all sorts of ways with the character.
Do you feel like you have to become that character, where you're ad-libbing lines as it's the character, like that's what he would say?
Yeah, in certain degrees, yes, absolutely, absolutely. You try to put your mind frame in. I was asked, was I ever a principal? Absolutely not. But for that particular character, since it's a recurring role, I am seeking to actually shadow a principal at a high school to really get to know what they do day in and day out, and to kind of get to know their personality, their behavior, and things of that nature, how they would basically go about their day as a principal.
So CeeJay Joseph, where can we see you now? What TV channels, where can we see you act?
Well, on CW Walker, it's we're 39 here in the Houston area. It comes on every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time. I'm not yet, that is my prayer, to be a series regular, but I'm not yet on every week. But I do have a recurring role, and as the season goes on, I'll get the call or the email from the agent. Hey, you've been pinned for these dates, and then you start the preparation all over again.
Well, CeeJay, we wish you the very best of luck in your acting career. Thank you so much for sharing it with us, sharing your time with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate you.
Thank you. That's all for this edition of Global Outlook. We'll see you again on Comcast Channel 19 every Friday and Sunday at 7:30 a.m., 7:30 p.m., plus Saturday 10 a.m. You can also download a podcast to go on our website, hccs.edu/podcast, or you can watch the full video version anytime on HCC's YouTube channel. I'm Mary Sitt. Thanks for joining us, and happy holidays.